Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, this video is just going to be about some of the various different sizes of flashlights. These are small ones. The way I broke it down is small replaceable battery flashlights. So I'm not including keychain flashlights, which are good and everything, but it's just like if you wanted something a little bit beyond a keychain flashlight that had a little bit more capacity, these are some of the different ones that I have, and I'll discuss them. So we start off with the different battery sizes. AAA on this end, then we get AA, and then we get 16340, I think. Yeah, 16340. And then we step up to something that I'm really starting to enjoy a lot more, is the 18350. It's basically a half size of a
18650.
350. Pretty close. And you get that by putting... Get away from there. He had to show off his magnetic personality. You get that by putting a short tube on these. And you can get these short tubes either... This one came with this kit, with this Sopran SP40A. It came with a little short tube, and I've been using it on the SC31T Pro. Because on the Pro, the switch is just an on and off switch. So when you replace it with a magnet, it's just on. And so it just becomes, like this thing's in standby all the time. You can, unscrew the cap if you like, but it makes it pretty compact. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, starting from the small size, you have, of course, the O lights, the i3Ts. And what's usually about these small button switch, tail switch operated lights is they usually have 2 or 3 modes, and that's it. So if you don't like complexity and you want a light, you want a flashlight that's not difficult to operate, pretty easy to use. Like I said, these are the small size. And just remember, now this thing's not exactly right on its capacity rating, but when you're dealing with smaller batteries, as you can see, just think of this as like a gas tank. It has less capacity to run. So a lot of times they won't run as bright, although that's not always true, or as long. All right, so now this one right here is the Streamlight MicroStream USB. And I just like to say in advance, I bought all these flashlights on my own. I wasn't given any by anybody. I don't have any affiliate links or anything like that. So this is just my opinion, and it benefits me in no way whichever flashlight you decide to buy. If you don't decide to buy any of these, I'm just giving you my opinions of these lights. Now this one is pretty cool. You can get, it's got some innovative things. I like the way it seals that. Now that is a micro USB, compared to a Type-C charging. So, that's a disadvantage. But I like the way that thing seals like that. You don't have to mess around with a rubber dongle. And this one in this color, the desert tan color, comes on high to begin with, and then low. And I think you can put a AA in here, but it's designed to run, a AAA, it's designed to run this 14440, basically, is what this is. 3.7 volts, 350 milliamps, 1.3 watt hour rechargeable lithium ion. And you can recharge it on board. And then the second, the first one is high when you push it on. This is called the tactical. You can get the black version. Let's see, you got some modulation it's picking up there. You can't see that with your eye when you're looking at it, but these are not bad. This isn't bad. My favorite in the AAA size is the Olight i3T. EOS because it's simple, it's small, fits in your hand pretty well. The switch is positive, it's easy to operate. You can do a momentary, you can do a fast, and with these, even though Olight doesn't recommend it, you can throw in a 14440 lithium ion in there and really bump up the lumens. Mainly the low lumens. I mean, it bumps up the high a lot, but I use mainly the low. It gives the low a more functional amount of lumens for me, as opposed to, I think I got this one with just a regular alkaline. It's not easy to tell, you know, just looking. Well, you can tell right there. That's low. This is low with the 14440. Let me turn this light off. I'm just going to shine it down there where it's mostly black. But you can see, that gives you a lot more usable light on that one. It doesn't get hot. It's not, you know, like burning it out, supercharging it and everything. This one's got I think the alkaline that it came with. That guy's in lightning mode over there. He's not really strobing or anything. He's just playing around with lightning mode. But yeah, it just comes with these little. The advantage of these are you don't have crazy batteries. You can put, you know, AAA or that you can find pretty much anywhere here in America. And, I mean, this is kind of crazy, but you can just take a Sharpie, take the guts out of it. It fits perfectly over this, and you got a little diffuser with a little beam hole if you want, you know, a little focus beam there. And that's the super bright. This one's got a 14440 in it. But yeah, you can buy diffusers for some of these other lights like Soper and everything. I haven't seen Olight do it. They tend to want you to get the O bulb or something like that, but just look around for things that are about that diameter. This one's got these little grooves in here, which helps friction put it in there. And yeah, works out pretty good like that. All right, so that's those. I don't have a whole lot of them. Here's the i3T EOS. I do not throw in two 14440s in here because you're gonna overload it with volts. You're gonna throw it with like 7.4 volts. You're gonna wipe out the emitter when you do that. So with these you can do it because it's a small one and it's only one battery that you're dropping in. But if you try it in these, you're gonna burn out your light. All right, moving up to the AA size. Now, again, we go from from easy to complex. And these can be as complex as you want or as easy as you want. Well, this is not AA. You've got to separate. This is just AA's we're talking about. So the Olight i5T EOS, you see how it kind of ramps up on that? Some people like that, some don't, but that's what you get with the i3T. With the i5R, you're basically getting a rechargeable one. And they put this little wavy line on there to let you know from a distance, you know, because they look pretty much the same. But this one's pretty cool. And again, this is another one where you don't want to just throw in a 14500 in there and try to boost it up, because this proprietary battery here actually runs better on that voltage and everything else than throwing something else in there. And you'll be stuck with, if you throw a higher voltage one in there, you're going to be stuck with one mode. And it's nice to have two modes, you know, low and a high. That comes in handy. Sometimes you don't need all that light blasting out at you. It's a good size. Fits in the hand pretty well. Now, I bought the i5T Plus. This is more like a pen light. It gives you could use it as a Kubotan and all that other stuff, but I tell you, in all my life, it's not to say it won't happen, but in all my life, I've never used a flashlight in self-defense this way, like physical. I have used it to spotlight things. So again, you got a low and a high. You're getting you're going to get longer runtime, a little bit more lumens and stuff like that, possibly. I don't have all the specifications down here. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of all these. The Ace Beam Bookie Light. Again, this is like a lip balm. I can't remember which one, but man, this thing fits perfectly on there. Now, because it says hot, this thing does get hot in its turbo mode. This one is still basically like you got 3 steps, but the third one is that turbo mode, and it does get warm pretty quick. So it remembers what you last had it in, and the clicky is a little bit stronger on this one than compared to the Olight. You know, like that's a low. You can momentary it and get it to go a little bit, and then you can go faster. But this little thing right here acts like a little diffuser, so you can use it, you know, trying to get it low. Yeah, but they can get more complex. All right, now if you want to get really advanced AA size, you get the Sofran SP10 Pro. And as I've noticed in the other ones, it will run, you know, rechargeable AA's and everything, but you have to recalibrate it. Basically, when you turn it on, you basically have to recalibrate it, and then it'll remember, you know, what it is and everything. But with this one, you get all the little funky features. You know, you can do strobes, you can do lightning, candlelight, all this other stuff that you can't do with any of these other ones. Now, if you don't need any of that, then you don't need to, you know, buy this. But this one it gives you options. It'll basically can do everything these will do and more. Now, the and more requires you to get involved in Enduro, which once you learn it, it's not too bad. But I'm looking at them charts and everything, and sometimes the manuals are not correct on it, so it'll tell you to do one thing, and you're actually got another version of it and everything else, and that can get funky. But they can still be a basic flashlight if you want, with things that you can't do with these other ones, which is like, if you've got this guy in lockout, when you push down, you've got a moonlight, a momentary moonlight. And you can double click and give yourself a little bit higher. It's not moonlight, but it's a pretty low setting and everything. You can't do that, you know, with these guys. You don't have a moonlight. You got a low, but you don't have a moonlight. This button feels kind of weird compared to all these other, compared to even these plastic buttons and these tail switch. It is kind of weird feeling. And on this one, this is kind of strange. I've had the diffuser on it, and I've had it sitting on a cardboard box, and I pulled up without touching the switch, and the light would flicker momentarily. I haven't been able to duplicate it recently, so I don't know what that was, but everything was tight. This switch is not super. You got to push down on it. I unlocked it. But it gives you a lot of options. If you remember, you got to remember the sequences. But you can unlock the light without it coming on, or you can unlock the light and have it go on turbo just by doing 5 clicks instead of 4. So, yeah, it requires you to, you know, do some programming. Now we're getting into the size of lights that I like to carry, because if I'm going to carry something AA, I can carry something that's a 16. Is this a 16 or an 18? 16340. This is the same size as a CR123A. The same size of battery that you would use in a Baton, but you can't use one of these in a Baton 3. But I carried this size light for a long time. Now, what I have been carrying, I've replaced it with, basically, is the SC21 Pro. I've got another one that I'm lugging around. I've got it on an O-Link on my belt, and it doesn't take up any pocket space because it's on a belt loop. because it's on a magnet and this is magnetic, pink, I can just pull it off and use it. If I don't want to pull it off, if I'm just like walking into the bathroom and I want to illuminate what's down by me, but I don't want to shine it, this would be good if you're like walking in a path and people around, but you want to illuminate what's around you. You just leave it hooked up to the belt loop and it shines down at your feet. And the spill will give you enough that you can see, what you need to see. But I really like these lights. This has really, like I said, become my favorite EDC. Ever since I've got it, I've replaced the baton with it. And the thing about these size lights is, this is just enough light. It's kind of like the Three Bears in Porridge, This one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right. This size light is pretty good, but I'm tending to like the 18350 because it's not as big. It's not that much bigger than one of these guys. Of course, the Baton, where is it? The Baton 3 is more compact, a little bit smaller. You have a bigger head on this, but see, again, you're getting a little bit bigger head, you're getting a little bit bigger area. I put a magnetic tail cap on this one. This clip works good because it sits right over the charging port cover, so it helps cover that. Let go of that. It still fits in the hand perfectly. Now, the Sopron SC31T, it's kind of like one of those in between. It's got a simplified endural, so it just gives you the thing. You don't have a lot of programming, which you don't need to do if you don't need it, and but you still have the flashes like this, the party strobes, the SOS. See, some of these things come in handy. SOS might come in handy if people know what's going on, but a strobe, a beacon strobe, you can leave on, like if you're walking out from your base camp, you don't have a fire or anything going, you put this on your pack, you put it on beacon mode, and it'll sit there and you'll be able to visually find your way back to your camp if you get lost out there, wherever you are. But again, I find the smaller size lights more useful because a lot of times I'm not going camping. I'm in my apartment. Most I got to do is go out and throw out trash or something. So I don't need a lot of battery capacity and everything else. And this size is useful. It's easy to carry. You have all the power and function of a full-fledged, 18650 flashlight without having to carry. It's not much, but it's more. And if I need it, all I got to do is just unscrew this and boom. It's back to what it was, the way it originally came. And again, I find these size wearing around my head, the 16340s, much more comfortable than a full-size, a full-size 18650. And they even make 21700 headlamps. So yeah, if you're out camping around, you want more capacity, you're going to put up with a little bit more weight on your head. But if you don't need a whole lot of light for very long, like you're just navigating around a house during a power outage, it's only going to be out for like 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours, whatever. These things are fine. These things are perfect. And if you put them in like this, the moonlight on these guys is a useful moonlight for a headlamp. Because, some people say, well, I only want half aluminum or everything. This is up on your head. It's not in your hand, on a right angle light. So more lumens is good on a low, I think, on this. And of course, this is the pair in two, but it has what I find cool too is the red. It's got that red light in it, which is cool. So there you go. I've rambled on long enough. It's like 20 minutes, but I just wanted to give you an idea and a heads up of what you can do, what's available out there, and you can go from as complex as you want or as simple as you want. And even if you've got a complex one and you don't understand everything, after a while, learning. After a while, you learn, and then you unlock other features that maybe you didn't like before. And it is a lot of hand learning, you know, because turning on a strobe on an Olight is 3 clicks. Turning on a strobe on one of these is 2 and you hold on the last one. Now that sounds simple, but if your hand's used to just going click, 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 you're going to get nothing on these. It might come on or whatever. Let me try one. Let's see what we get. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you get battery check. So if you're expecting strobe and you get battery check, they're gonna go, what? Are you trying to scare me? Are you sending out an SOS? Whatever you're gonna use strobe for. Really, only time I use strobe is just to play around with it. But it would be disorienting if it was in your eyes. I think these things on turbo in your eyes would be more disorienting. But anyway, there you go. Like I said, I've rambled on long enough. These are just some of my suggestions. I actually find these pretty cool too. A lot of times I'll use this, even though I've got the other one on my belt, you know, hanging down always. I'll just pick up one of these and, you know, because it fits in the hand. It's real small. It's not taking up much energy, you know. Anyway, there you go. I'll give you some ideas. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.